Steve Moore is a former Trump economic advisor. He's now the co-founder of Unleash Prosperity. Steve, thank you for joining us on your stage. Take some time. We'll put it in a second, but it's 177,000 new jobs. 4.2% is the unemployment rate that we're hovering over right now. Seems to be that this trade war, all the tariff talk and the doom and gloom really had no impact on jobs. So, Steve, tell me, is that a good sign for what's to come in the next couple of months? Because some economists say we're going to start to feel the pain, at least in the summer.
Well, it's an interesting story. Look, I think most people are really breathing a breath of relief that this report came out. It was a good, strong report. By the way, we have a record number of Americans working today. Never before in history have we had more Americans working. That's a great thing. We had more people enter the workforce. That's been a problem. We actually saw a shrinkage of government employment, which is a good thing because we're running a $2 trillion deficit. So we have to, reduce the size of the federal government. So that was a really good, positive report. And then the other thing, of course, that's happened over the last 2 weeks has been the absolute surge in the stock market. Remember, 2 weeks ago, every newspaper headline was the worst April in history for the Dow Jones, and this is the worst stock market since the Great Depression. In the last 2 weeks, we've seen a total rebound. And I think the reason that's happening is investors and businessmen and women are becoming more confident that Trump is going to pull this off and we're going to get those trade deals. Now, listen, if those trade deals don't happen and people become pessimistic, we might see another, fall in the stock market. But for now, people are much more optimistic than they were a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, let's talk about the pocketbook because the big number, I think, jobs report set aside, is inflation. And we've been watching that very closely. Obviously, not great during the Biden administration. And now everyone is watching how the Trump administration handles it. Inflation actually lower, right, than expected in March, even though consumers we're seeing are still spending out there. Egg and oil prices down as well, which the White House is pointing to as well. What do you think? Are consumers feeling the pinch of the tariffs yet? Will they? Will we continue to see inflation go down?
Listen, you're right that inflation has been pretty tame for the first 3 months that Trump has been president. And remember what a horrible situation we had in the first couple of years with Biden, with prices going up to as high as 9.2%. And, over the 4-year period, people were paying 25 to 30% more for everything from gasoline to groceries. So this is a good news story, no question about it. Now, will tariffs at the margin raise prices? Yes, it's a tax on when you buy things. So if you're going to buy shoes or T-shirts from China, you're going to pay a little bit more of those. But I always like to remind people that all of the other things that Trump is doing are positive in terms of holding prices down. So we're producing more oil and gas than ever before. That's gas prices have been falling at the pump. We're seeing the deregulation efforts that are going to make it cut costs for businesses that they can pass on to consumers. And then, of course, let's not forget the tax cut. We get that tax cut done, and you're going to see a really strong stock market, and you're also going to see prices fall.
They got to get this China deal done, too. And it seems like China might be hinting that they might be willing to come to the table, at least when it comes to fentanyl. This is from the Wall Street Journal. It says Beijing is considering ways to address the Trump administration's concerns over China's role in the fentanyl trade. That's according to 2 people familiar with the matter, potentially offering an off-ramp from hostilities to allow for trade talks to start. Do you see that happening? Do you think this is a softening, a warming up from China?
It's about time, isn't it? Fentanyl has become one of the leading causes of death of our young people. You wonder why Joe Biden didn't do this 4 years ago. We know where the fentanyl is coming from. It's as I said, it's killing our youth. That they're importing into the United States a poison. So this is very good news. Now, whether the Chinese will actually follow up and actually do what they say, I don't know. With the Chinese, you need trust but verify, just as Reagan used to say. But if we get that deal with China, not just fentanyl, but the fact that they are stealing our technologies, that they have much higher tariffs, I think this is the linchpin for a boom. If he gets that deal done with China and then we get the tax cut passed, I think we're going to see a huge benefit to the U.S. economy over the next couple of years. So people don't lose faith. I mean, it's been a lot of choppy couple of months, but every indication is that things are really on a positive note right now.
Real quick, we just ran out of time, Steve. I got to go, but investor Warren Buffett says he's going to retire at the end of the year. Real quick comment on that, and then we'll let you go.
What an icon. I mean, the guy, I wish I had a penny for every dollar that he has. And he has become one of the great investors of all time. And I have, Berkshire Hathaway. He's not just made money for himself, but so many millions of other Americans. And I hate to see him leave the investment field because he gives great advice.
Okay, Steve Moore, always a good friend to us. Thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.